Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. As you saw from the thumbnail and the title, today I'm going to be sharpening some lawnmower blades. The blades that I'm going to show you, I literally sharpened a week ago, but lucky me, found some rocks and it dented them up pretty bad. I'm not going to be able to get these perfect by any means because they have some pretty big dents in them, but I'm going to be showing you how I sharpen my lawnmower blades and some other methods you can use to sharpen your lawnmower blades. Let's go ahead and get into it. So here are the two blades that hit the rocks. My mower has 3 blades. The other blade looks very good. Like I said, I just sharpened them a week ago. So but you can see the dent right there, dent there, dent, and dent. And I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not going to be able to get all of that out because, I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I would have to require so much of my blade that it would not be feasible for me to do that. You want the blades sharp. You don't want them razor blade sharp, like, and by razor blade I mean like if you touch it, it cuts you. That's way too sharp because the first mowing it's gonna dull it up pretty good anyways, because the grass grows in dirt, and if you got high lift blades especially, you're sucking a lot of that dirt and dust up in there, and it's kind of like sandpapering away. Anyways, you don't want it blunt because what happens is it'll actually tear your grass and it'll cause it to damage it. That's great for like a brush hog or something like that because you're going to be running over, you know, thorn bushes and shrubs and all the stuff you don't want, and it actually will tear the shrub and damage it and hopefully kill it. Lawnmower blades, you don't want to do that because you want a nice looking lawn, all right? So you want them sharp, not too sharp, just sharp enough. And you also want to balance these things. I have this is like $8 or something. It's worth it. You just stick your blade on there and that balances it, and you can kind of see that looks pretty good. Keep in mind, if you want to make sure your table is level, because if your table's not level, this is not going to be right. And so make sure your table's level, or what you're setting this on is level. Stick your blade on there. Should be about the same height. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be close. A lot of people don't even balance their blades. In my experience with spindles and bearings, you want it as balanced as possible. But anyways, you can also use nail. You can drive a nail in a table or a wall, or screwdriver in your vise, something like that, just to hold your blade. And what you can do is hang your blade on it and it'll kind of balance itself, and then you'll know how much material you need to take off the other side. I use, to sharpen my blades, I use just an Oregon bench grinder, or it's not a bench grinder, it's actually 4 blades. The reason I use this is because it's quicker and more efficient for me, because I sharpen blades a lot. I cut a lot of grass, and I also use this to sharpen my wood chipper blades and all that. So it's nice to have. You can also use a grinder with a flat disc. You don't necessarily need a flat disc, but the flat disc would remove more material and probably a little quicker for you. You can also use a regular grinding disc. You can use a file. This would be a very slow option unless your blades are just, you know, like if you had a push mower and you just cut a very small area or something like that. File might be the way to go because you don't have to go buying grinders and disc and all that stuff. They have attachments for drills. I've seen people use belt sanders. There's multiple ways of sharpening blades. You just want to get the angle right on this thing. What's cool about it, it's got this nut. You can raise and lower this disc, which is a circle, and it gives you that angle. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you kind of get the concept. If you raise this up, you're going to get a steeper angle. If you lower it, you're going to get a, well, you get an angle like that. I don't know what you'd say, it's steeper, lower, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, that's why I like using this, because my angle's right, it's quick and easy. If you use a grinder or something like that, you're probably going to need a vise to put your blade in, so it's something to think about too. Let's see if we can get this garbage out and get our blade sharp and looking nice again. And I want to mention, if you're using any kind of powered grinder, like a bench grinder, grinding wheel, anything powered that's going to generate a lot of friction and heat, you do not want to overheat these blades, or you actually don't want to heat the blades up at all. If you can't hold them in your hand, they're too hot. And if you change the color of the blade, you know how you get metal real hot and it'll kind of start turning like a blue or black color? You've got it way too hot. You don't need to be doing all that. If you can't hold it in your hand, you need to go get an air compressor and, you know, spray the air on it till it cools off, or dip it in water that can cool it off. I can't stress that enough. Don't get your blade hot, because it'll change the properties of the metal, and it'll make it, you know, it'll either make it softer, or it'll make it so hard that when you hit something, it'll just snap the whole tip off, the tip of your edge, I mean. But anyways, now that that's knocked out of the way, let's see if we can get some work done on this. What I usually do, I normally have 3 blades, okay? Or I normally have 6 or 9 or whatever. But what I'm gonna do, I'll do 10 passes, I'm gonna rotate it, do 10 passes, grab another blade, 10 passes, rotate it. And that'll give this time to cool down enough that by the time I get back around to it, it's not gonna be, you know, changing any kind of temperature. So just wanted to mention that before we get started here, so. And I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I stuck it on my little level and my little blade leveler, and it helps me to just look at that gap right there, the little tiny gap. And I'm not sure if you guys can see on camera, but this side is a little bit heavier because this gap's smaller than this gap. So all I need to do is put this side back in the grinder, maybe 2 or 3. I mean, I may not have counted exactly 10. I start thinking about stuff when I'm doing things like this, and I may not get exactly 10. So I'll just go another 2, 3 passes on this side, then stick it back on exactly like I did. And that gap should be a little bigger, hopefully leveling this out. So let's do that right quick. So this blade is level now. As I said before, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that huge dent out because I would have had to remove so much of my blade that it would have severely limited the life of these blades. See, you can still kind of see it, but it's sharp. Okay, when I'm pulling on it, or when I'm sliding my finger across it, it's good and sharp. It's going to be the same story for this side. A little less noticeable chunk took out, but like I said, I hit a massive rock. I was paying attention to everything. It was just the customer I was working for liked their grass to be really low, like 2 1/4 inches low, and 2 1/4 inches is about that much. So you figure if you got a little rock sticking up or something like that. And it was a new customer. Excuses. But these blades are getting sharp now. I actually went ahead. I didn't balance. I didn't have to grind any off of this one. This one was perfectly level. I don't know what the odds of that are, but usually you have to take some off, but that's good and level. This one's, of course, got the chunk in it too. And it's strange to me that it hit in the same exact spot on all 4 corners there. But that's how you sharpen a blade. And I've seen online, because I watched some stuff online how other people do it, and there's little burrs and stuff like this, and they take the file and clean that off. That it's kind of unnecessary, okay? I mean, really all you want to do is get that blunt edge off, get it, you know, to where it feels halfway sharp. Doesn't need to be razor blade sharp. You don't need to worry about these burrs, because guess what? I don't know if you guys know what a sandblaster is, but that's kind of what you're doing to your blades. You got fine dust, especially if there's any dust. There's always going to be dirt in the grass. I don't care what you do, because it's growing in the dirt. So as you cut, you're just pulling that stuff up, and it's gonna blow these burrs right off. Those burrs did not matter. I hope you guys got something out of this. Let me know how you guys sharpen yours, and if you can find any other efficient way to do this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.